Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Anthony Vaughn. I'm an acting assistant director for the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. And on behalf of Governor J.B. Pritzker and this administration, I want to welcome everyone to the ribbon cutting ceremony. Actually, it's the long-awaited ribbon cutting ceremony for the Illinois Veterans Home in Chicago. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge our special guests from our service organizations. First, it is my honor to introduce the leadership of the veteran service organizations that have joined us today. Reverend Donald Meeks, the chaplain of VFW of Illinois. Commander Lori Emmer, VFW, Department of Illinois. Commander Roy Weber, the American Legion, Department of Illinois. And Senior Vice Commander Tim Alexander, Disabled American Veterans of Illinois. I'd also like to welcome our elected officials that have joined us today. Governor J.B. Pritzker, U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth, Congressman Mike Quigley, Illinois Senator Rob Martwick, Illinois Representative Lindsay LaPointe, and Chicago Alderman Nick Sopazzo. Did I get that right?
We're all friends here.
Spasato. I'm sorry. It's your name, and it's my responsibility to get it right, and I apologize for that, sir. And Cook County Commissioner Pete Silvestri. I get that one? All right. We also want to acknowledge former Illinois Governor Pat Quinn, who is here with us today. Governor, thank you for all you have done on behalf of Illinois veterans. It's been truly appreciated, and their families. Now, if you'll please rise if you can for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would now like to invite Reverend Donald Meeks to offer today's invocation.
Shall we bow our heads in the presence of Almighty God? Eternal Father, we want to thank you for allowing us to be here for such a time as this. Even in the midst of a coronavirus, God, you're yet providing blessings upon your people and our fellow veterans. As we enter into these ceremonies, we pray that your presence will be here with us as you continue to lead us and guide us in all of our ways. We pray that you will bless each and every presenter, our elected officials, those that are a part of the Illinois Veterans Administration. We're thankful for all those who are present to bear witness the ribbon cutting ceremony for this great facility that you have provided. We pray, God, that your presence, your spirit will dwell within the walls, every floor, every room. Let something unusual be felt in this place as we dedicate it today in your honor as well as in your name. Bless all the veterans those who have served and those who are currently served. Bless those who are currently missing in action, and even those that are being held as prisoners of war. We don't want to leave no stone unturned, O God, but we want to give your name all the glory and the praise, for we yet have a future hope, and our hope is in you. In all these things we ask in the precious name of thy Son. Shall we all say, Amen?
Thank you very much, Reverend Meeks. This time you can all be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Governor of the State of Illinois, J.B. Pritzker.
Well, thank you very much, Acting Assistant Director Vaughn, and thank you and to Director Chapalavia for ushering this facility to its completion safely and efficiently in the middle of a pandemic. Your entire team, notably Gwen Deal as our Department of Veterans Affairs Home Coordinator, and Len Winicky, who came out of semi-retirement to oversee the Chicago project through its completion, put their whole hearts into this project. Very important to so many of us, and they really made it a home for our Illinois heroes. To all the elected officials and community members here with us today, it's my great privilege to join all of you on this very special occasion, this special day that we reserve to show our nation's gratitude and reverence for our servicemen and women. So many people, many of whom could not join us today, made this project possible, and I want to recognize just a few of them. Of course, we need to start with the vision of the then IDVA director, now Senator, Tammy Duckworth, who back in 2008 saw the importance of having a veterans home, one which would serve our state's largest population center, and then launched this effort that we finished today. And I want to acknowledge and thank especially our former governor, Pat Quinn, whose administration first gave life to this project. Pat Quinn has demonstrated over many, many years in public life how much he cares for our servicemen and women, that he shows up for them every single time, and I admire that about you, Governor, and thank you very much for all that you do. I also want to thank Eileen Rhodes, the chairwoman of the Illinois Capital Development Board, as well as the entire CDB board for their oversight and engagement, as well as longtime dedicated employee Ron Wright, the construction administrator for this project, who oversaw so many tasks, big and small, from licensure to zoning, that were necessary to make this project a reality. From the Army to the Air Force to the Navy to the Marines to the Coast Guard to the National Guard, we know how important our servicemen and women are to the security and well-being of our nation. And it's my mission that Illinois will provide every possible support for our military men and women, their families, and all of our veterans, those who have made sacrifice after sacrifice so that all of us can live free. As the proud son and grandson of naval officers, I have a very personal commitment to Illinois' nearly 650,000 veterans. That's why one of my first acts as governor back in January was to order a full review, that was January of 2019, to order a full review of the health, safety, and security of veterans' homes across our state, making sure that our heroes are being well cared for. And because I had become concerned over the years about the disinvestment brought about by my predecessor's administration, it was all too clear things needed to change in this state. Shortly thereafter, I began the planning process to build another state-of-the-art facility for our nation's heroes to replace the aging one in Quincy, Illinois, that had been plagued with infectious disease that ultimately tragically took the lives of some of the residents there. And of course, I undertook the restart of this project that we celebrate today, establishing the first Illinois Veterans Home directly serving the Chicagoland area. Finally. As you can see, it's a work of art, and it really is. I have to say, just driving up here today, having seen this facility in its various phases, in the worst of it, with snow on the inside, and all of us deeply concerned about whether we would have to knock down whatever had been built and just start over again. It is really incredible. The high-quality labor union members who did this work, the other construction workers, and the IDVA who found a way to safely and efficiently keep this project moving forward. I just want to say a deep thank you to all of you, something that I think is felt by people all across this state today. And this home, following a resident-centered model of care, really feels like a home. This is a place with local art and community kitchens and gardens, a place that really respects and honors the humanity of the heroic residents that it serves. That work of focusing on upgrading our state's support for veterans doesn't end here. In addition to upgrading the retirement facilities for veterans, my administration has also expanded our veterans services, thanks in part to the leader of our Department of Veterans Affairs, Linda Chappell-Lavia. Last year, working with the General Assembly on both sides of the aisle, we expedited professional licensing for service members and their spouses, reducing the barriers for military families, allowing them to more easily get a job when they move to Illinois. We've made it easier for recently discharged veterans who are re-entering the civilian workforce to get credits and certification, so military medics can become EMTs or certified nurse assistants without having to relearn what they already know. And I also created a task force to review the injuries that currently go unrecognized at the federal level so that we can identify ways to give those who suffered those injuries the health insurance coverage and treatments that they deserve here in Illinois. Illinois has gone beyond the federal GI Bill to a place where only a handful of states have gone, offering free tuition at every educational level for veterans, meaning a substantial number of veterans in Illinois are now able to obtain graduate degrees. And I signed a law last year expanding access to the MIA POW scholarship program, making it easier for the family members of those who made great sacrifice to access higher education in our state. To be clear, our obligations to our service members are not just about providing health care and housing and human services and jobs, although those are critically important. We must live up to the example and the legacy that our veterans have offered us. To believe enough in the people and places and values here in Illinois that we never stop fighting to build a state and a nation worthy of their sacrifice. So God bless our veterans, those who once served and those who still do. And on this day of all days, may we all take a moment to find a way to thank a veteran for their service and their commitment to America's greatness. Thank you, and with that, I'd like to turn it back over to Acting Assistant Director Vaughn.
Thank you, Governor. Now it is my honor to introduce my former director and current U.S. Senator, Tammy Duckworth.
I'm good. Thank you, Anthony. In addition to being the wonderful employee and staff member at IDVA, Anthony has also spent over 30 years in the military and is a retired Master Sergeant. And we call the nickname for our Master Sergeants in the Army is Master Blaster because they get stuff done. And the word that's used is not usually stuff, but they get things done. And so he is indeed in the right place for this. Governor Quinn, Governor Quinn has been a true champion for our veterans in this state, and I will tell you that I met him. Actually, I wasn't awake yet. He met my husband Brian first, and when I woke up from that coma that they had me in, 11 days after I was shut down, my husband said, "Yeah, the Lieutenant Governor has been calling me, and he sent us money." And his championing of the Illinois Military Families Assistance Fund has helped countless military families in this state survive tragic circumstances. And so thank you, Governor, for everything that you've done. And then when I got to serve in his administration, and I said, "Governor, we really need a veterans home." Our veterans and their family members in Illinois, in Chicago, have to travel to Manteno or out to Quincy. See, this place, you're seeing brick and mortar and stone and aluminum and all of these things, but this place is love. This place is love. This place is love for one veteran for another. It is love of this state for her servicemen and women, the love that Governor Quinn has shown throughout his entire career for our military men and women and their families. It is the love that a master blaster has for all of the troops under him to make sure that they are well cared for and watched out for. It is the love that veterans have for one another with the VSOs, the American Legion, the VFW, the DAV. You all were there when I was sworn in, when I first showed up at IDVA and said, "We need a veterans home because the waiting list is 2,000 veterans long." And by the way, why are we making family members travel all the way an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours to go see their loved ones? Because we were separating our veterans from those that they love. Well, this is a place that brings that love back, because now our families in Chicago can see their veterans here much more easily, much more cheaply, much more frequently. And then I have to say, Gwen walked numerous empty fields and empty lots and went to so many meetings and arguments at Hines and all sorts of places, begging and pleading for a piece of land that we could build this veterans home on. And she never, ever, ever quit. And she was the true technician behind the scenes making this happen. Thank you, Gwen. This is full of your love for our veterans as well. And then when we decided we were going to do this, I had the fun time of going to Governor Quinn and asking him for $30 million. And he said, "Tammy, we're going to do it. We're going to figure out a way." And he was the first governor to put that aside in his capital budget. And then, of course, we had a governor who didn't do anything and, in fact, tried to steal that money from our veterans until we got Governor Pritzker. At a time when the state was in dire straits, we got Governor Pritzker, who came in with his love of veterans, with his love of the state, with his understanding and expertise on how to make things happen. And for him during that time to put that money back into the fund, to reallocate that, is quite amazing indeed. And to make this happen, thank you, Mr. Governor. This truly is a reflection of your love for our vets. And in that back corner, there's Linda Chapalavia, who's our current IDVA director and my girlfriend. But before that, she was in the state legislature, Representative Linda Chapalavia. It was she who I went to when I had veterans issues. It was she who spearheaded any attempt I had on veterans issues in Springfield, really working with legislators on both sides of the aisle to make sure that we got both Democratic and Republican support for Governor Quinn putting the $30 million into this budget. There's so much love in this building. It is the love and the dedication and the effort and the late nights and the many gray hairs that so many people pulled and put into this building. So when you look through here, just think of the love that is in here and the love that will continue to be here as veterans finally get to move in, as veterans get to see their family members and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries and all the things we're going to be able to do when we get this virus under control. And I know that we are in good hands here in the state of Illinois with Governor Pritzker, who's leading that effort to keep our fellow neighbors and friends safe. And of course, I just have to say, what a great day it is to be a Veterans Day, to be able to get to do this. Tomorrow is the 16th anniversary of my Alive Day. And I couldn't think of a better birthday present than to get to be here at this ribbon cutting. So thank you all, everyone who poured your heart and soul and love into this building. And I can't wait to be here when the veterans are here and hear their stories about their service and their love for one another, and to watch their family members be able to embrace and care for them, and all the staff who will be working here, because there are no better staff than the civil servants, than the staff who work in the IDVA and who work to support our veterans at every level, from the secretaries all the way through to the frontline clinicians, to the director, to everyone at IDVA. They truly believe in the mission of caring for our veterans. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for letting me be here. Be well and God bless.
Thank you very much, Senator Duckworth. I'd like to next recognize the chairwoman of the Illinois Capital Development Board, Eileen Rhodes.
Good morning. On behalf of the board and staff of the Capital Development Board, I'm so pleased to be here today. Before acknowledging all the people and work that went into this incredible project, I'd like to deliver my personal thank you to Governor Pritzker. When I first met candidate Pritzker, he promised to uplift the state of Illinois for the benefit of all of its citizens. He committed to working people and business owners that he and his agencies would do everything possible to ensure that the state's economic assets would be equitably dispersed to all the citizens. Even as we face incredible challenges these days, I am personally gratified that Governor Pritzker and his administration continue to make good on that promise. When I was asked to chair the Capital Development Board, it was with the understanding that the work and rewards of an extremely ambitious and long overdue capital bill would be fairly distributed. State facilities are being renovated now, modernized, and built in all corners of Illinois by design and construction teams that represent diversity and equity. I am grateful that Governor Pritzker is looking out for all of his constituents and honored to be of service to his vision. Which brings us to today. As you've heard, we're celebrating the completion of a $118 million, 187,000 square foot facility for veterans. This project represents a partnership between CDB, the U.S. and Illinois Departments of Veteran Affairs, and the Illinois Department of Public Health, among others. This 5-story facility in Chicago is the first veterans home to be built in 20 years. The state-of-the-art structure includes 200 private bedrooms and bathrooms. We're pleased that it is the first to incorporate the best practices of the federal government's community living center model, meaning that it manages to accomplish small house design at an institutional level. Consistent with the state's commitment to sustainability, the building will receive a LEED Silver designation. The building was constructed with Chicagoland area contractors and Illinois union labor. The architect was HED Design of Chicago, the construction manager was Turner Construction, and the prime contractors were IHC Construction, Elite Electric, Amber Mechanical, Great Lakes Plumbing, C.R. Leonard Plumbing, and Automatic Fire Systems. We'd especially obviously like to acknowledge and thank our partners at the Department of Veterans Affairs, led by Director Chapalavia and Gwen Deal. Although my term began towards the conclusion of this project, I can personally attest to the hard work and tenacity of Director Jim Underwood and the CDB team. Emily Zagonjanin, Dan Bielski, and Andrea Brower worked around the clock to bring this complicated project to completion. And of course, I cannot say enough about Ron Wright, CDB's construction administrator, who was personally involved in every detail of this project, expressing his commitment to deliver the best building possible for Illinois veterans. The CDB set ambitious diversity goals for this project. We spent $7.9 million with minority-owned businesses and $2.7 million with women-owned businesses. It's also incredibly important to note that this was the first CDB project that had goals for veteran-owned businesses. By the end of this project, we had spent $4.4 million with veteran-owned businesses. This project has met its fair share of challenges. Construction began in 2014, but when the budget failed to pass, construction was halted. Although the budget impasse persisted, the project was able to recommence in 2016. And then in March of 2017, major delays occurred again when structural issues were discovered that required significant redesign and alterations to the construction. By April 2018, the project was able to begin again. With all hands on deck and extraordinary coordination of multiple trades, we planned for an April 2020 completion. And then COVID-19 hit. This project team, however, remained committed to the project completion. In fact, the construction was accelerated to be available for COVID-19 isolation beds if necessary. The CDB project team, Turner, DVA folks, and on-site medical professionals ensured that all on-site workers were safe. They were able to stay masked and distanced, and the place was regularly sanitized. The staff worked in shifts so that work could occur around the clock, and some people even slept on site. Due to these and other beyond-the-call efforts, we achieved substantial completion in April of this year and expect to have residents in occupancy when all the audits have been completed. This ceremony today, on Veterans Day, represents the coming together of dozens of agencies, hundreds of people, and millions of dollars. This amazing dedication at all levels of the job, from the VA officials to CDB staff to contractors and union workers, exemplifies the dedication this entire state has towards the veterans that will stay here. To all the veterans who will eventually call this facility home, we thank you for your service on behalf of Illinois and the United States of America.
Forgot my glasses. I can't see a damn thing.
Thank you, Chairman Rhodes. And now I'm proud to introduce my current director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs, Linda Chapalavia.
Good morning. As mentioned, thank you, Governor, for being here today. My name is Linda Chapalavia, and I'm the director of the Illinois Department of Veterans Affairs. As a proud Army veteran and a Goodwill ambassador for 650,000 veterans in the state of Illinois and their families, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's an honor to acknowledge today our nation's heroes that are still with us. So each and every one of you have served. Thank you so much and deeply from the bottom of my heart for your service, especially you, Gwen. I am thrilled to finally be cutting the ribbon on the Illinois Veteran Chicago home. Thank you to each of you who have made this beautiful home a reality for our Illinois veterans and their families. On this day, when we honor those who have bravely sacrificed everything for our freedoms, it is fitting that we open this facility today. Though we can never repay the debt we owe to all these fine women and men, we can honor our moral obligation that we have to provide them with the best care available in their twilight years. We must take care of those who have taken care of us. This project has been in the making for a very, very long time. For decades, our community has expressed the need for a veterans home here in Chicago, but it remained a wish and nothing more. I want to say it started in 1998-ish that the discussion was, and it took someone with Senator Duckworth's vision and strength to put concrete plans into action and make this dream a reality. It started prior to her with Roy D., our IDVA, before Tammy was the director of IDVA, but it was just talk. But it's important where it starts, correct? So we want to make sure that historically we're correct. Thank you, Senator, for always going above and beyond, fighting tooth and nail always for our warriors here in Illinois. If we could thank the Senator again. And she said I was her girlfriend earlier. She meant sister. I love her. And I would take a bullet for her, and I really mean that. If I had to go into any theater, I would be honored to be in your team, Senator. You have broken so many glass ceilings for people like me. When we were just not in politics, right? Or we just started. So God bless you. We wouldn't be standing here without your leadership. And after many years of delays and complications, this state-of-the-art facility during a global pandemic is a testimony to this administration's commitment to our veterans. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, from the bottom of our heart and all the veterans that are here in the state, because you've always steadfast. Things have happened in this state where we could have fallen off the chart, and being, things going on, especially with this pandemic. I just want to thank you personally for being there and your service in the sense of making sure that your family lives through you for our veterans. So thank you, sir. It's been an honor and a privilege of a lifetime to serve in your administration. Governor Pritzker, at this time, I'd like to invite you to join me for the dedication of the Garden Plaque.
to start out here? Or you want me to? I will. Well, thank you again, Director. I'm very proud of your leadership of IDVA. It's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you and also your team, who've really been just stellar. This is a high-quality team that you put together. You've brought people who've been here for years, who really know what they're doing, and you brought new people in and new energy, and I really appreciate that. IDVA is full of truly exceptional individuals who, behind the scenes, quietly dedicate their lives to the betterment of all of our service members in Illinois, their families, and our veterans, of course, and many of whom have been service members themselves. Today, Director Chapel-Lavia and I want to offer special gratitude to one such person who has heroically overseen capital projects at our own network of veterans' homes, championed Illinois projects in front of the federal VA, maximized the impact of taxpayer dollars, not an unimportant thing, supported women veterans, enthusiastically worked the state fair and served as master of ceremonies for many years, all after a 2-decade career with the U.S. Army, serving at multiple levels of command here at home and in Germany, with deployments to Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. For her lifetime of service, she's received numerous military awards, from the Bronze Star for meritorious service in a combat zone, to the Kuwait Liberation Medal and the Meritorious Service Medal, as well as recognitions for her veteran status with local chapters of the Veterans for Foreign Wars, the American Legion, and the Women's Overseas Service League. Today, it is my distinct honor to add another accolade and recognition to her list, and this one will be seen and noticed every single day by many, many people. In honor of all of her work to make this Chicago Veterans Home a reality, this garden here at the Veterans Home will now and forever carry the name of Sergeant First Class Gwen M. Deal, U.S. Army, an Illinois hero. You bet.
Well, I took a long time putting together my remarks, and everybody's already said all the important stuff that I had in my remarks. Wow. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir. I've been at the department since 1996, and I wasn't going to retire until we got the Chicago home finished. And now, as Governor Pritzker said, he's given me funds to renovate Quincy, so now I have to stay until Quincy's done. So I'll probably take my duffel bag to the ribbon cutting and just move in. You've already recognized all of our partners within the community and the contractors. I wanted to thank Reed Campus for giving us 7.5 acres that we could use for our home, and for their willingness to share their campus with us. That's all I have. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, Gwen. It's been a pleasure working with you these years. At this time, we'd like to proceed with a socially distanced ribbon cutting.
That's a long ribbon.
Yeah.
That is a long ribbon. Yeah, Mike, come up here, Mike.
would like our night groups to count us down. You guys want to do it?
Wait, we gotta get Governor Quinn up here.
Okay.
He got us.
Governor, come on.
Governor Quinn.
Would you like
Come on up here,
Governor
Governor,
Quinn,
please.
come on, everyone.
You count us down. Get us over here. You count us down. Ready? Go ahead. Get over there, buddy. Get ready to the governor. Not too close.
All right, who's counting us down?
This young lady behind you. 3, 2, 1.
Get scissors, give us Issa a piece. I want a piece of this. This is my mom. Congressman, I want a piece.
See, you can tell she's a mom. Okay, we have one last thing. We'll take a few questions from members of the media. Happy to start, Craig, if you. So very soon there's sort of what I would describe as a soft opening, but I want to let the director, if I may, Director Chapalavia. We were asked a question about when we actually can move in. We've got some initial folks who are moving in, but then there's a broader move in.
Thank you, Governor. Yes, February 1, we're expected to have our first batch of veterans come in, and what we'd like to do is have them matriculate from our other homes, the ones that live here in Chicago, have family, so then they get closer home. So we'll probably start off with 25. We need to get licensure by the federal government and the state boards, so we're going to start slow.
Veto session was canceled. A, is this the right call? And B, what is this going to mean for state finances? Because you didn't obviously get your repairs out.
Well, let's start with the veto session. And look, I'm disappointed that there isn't going to be a veto session. There is so much work that needs to be done for the state, not just about the budget, but so many other matters, criminal justice reform being one example. And so I'm the impatient sort. I want to get things done sooner rather than later. I've been assured by the leaders that we'll get right at it as soon as we can in January. That, as you know, the rules change for how you can get things done from veto session to early January, and so we'll be looking at trying to get maybe more done in early January, but that's my goal. And then with regard to the budget, I'm already convening the leaders. There's a great deal of work that needs to be done. I'm very, very focused on making sure that our credit rating agencies don't downgrade the state of Illinois. From the very beginning of my administration, I've been focused on putting us on firm fiscal footing. We've trimmed across the executive branch throughout the last 2 years, and there's more to be done than just trimming. Now we're going to have to make some serious and frankly painful cuts. Those aren't things that I can do alone. The legislature has to be right there with us. So we're going to work on that long before they get together in January, beginning to put the pieces of that together.
On Veterans Day, you've got a number of outbreaks right now going on.
That's right.
Manteno and LaSalle. What happened with the protocols that were put in place that were supposed to prevent this, and what's being done to make sure the veterans and the staff are safe?
I want to remind everybody how deadly this virus is. It hasn't abated, it hasn't changed, it's out there, and no matter what we do, there is a level of risk. And it is especially risky, frankly, for those who are seniors. People who are over 60, as the age goes up, so does the risk. And we've worked very hard. Our veterans' homes really have done an outstanding job of keeping our veterans safe, but you can't 100% keep everybody safe in this environment, especially when our communities, our mayors, our city councils, our county boards and county chairs aren't living up to the mitigations. They're not following or enforcing mitigations in many parts of the state. They must do that. These veterans' homes need to be protected. So do all of the other nursing homes in the area. Remember, we've done everything that we can to seal our veterans' homes, our nursing homes, to keep out the virus. But you know what? Staff people who live in the communities and work at the veterans' homes, through no fault of their own, can contract it. They can be asymptomatic. They get tested regularly, I might add. So does every person who's at a veterans home, regular testing. But even that, you know, in this environment, especially in this environment where our positivity rate is skyrocketing, and where every state around us is at, you know, 20, 30, 40+%. Iowa yesterday, 48% positivity rate. Think about that. 48% positivity rate. You run into two people in Iowa, one of them has COVID. That's what that says. So we've got a lot of challenges, especially for people who live in the bordering areas of our state. And we're doing everything that we can with our seniors, with our nursing homes, with our long-term care facilities, and our veterans home to secure the safety and health of our senior citizens.
The CDC came out today or yesterday, whatever, the guidelines saying masks, you know, are you considering, you know, a statewide mask mandate? Other states, Utah particularly, just the other day, is that a consideration?
Craig, we have a statewide mask mandate, and we've had one since May 1st. What we need is for our local officials to live up to their obligations. Let me give you an example of a couple of places where they're doing just that. Champaign. In Champaign, Illinois, the city council, the mayor, the local officials there have done exactly the right thing. They are enforcing mask mandates. So too in Carbondale. There are places all across the state that are doing the right thing, enforcing that, and everybody knows they should be wearing a mask. Everybody here is wearing a mask. I'm only not wearing one because I'm standing at the podium. When I step back, I put one on. And when I'm in public, anywhere in public, with more than a few people, you know, I'm both socially distant and wearing a mask. We all have to do that, and with or without a mask mandate, that's something everybody needs to do. But look, when people don't enforce it, when local officials are setting bad examples, when they're allowing bars and restaurants, which just in a study released yesterday from Stanford and Northwestern universities, researchers showed that bars and restaurants are super spreading locations. When those are not kept outdoors or having indoor service closed, when people are not living up to their obligations in those communities, guess what? We're going to continue to have a rising rate of positivity and rising number of cases. Well, we're certainly looking at statewide mitigations. I do think local governments, though, right now, if they are not imposing new mitigations and enforcing the ones that are already in place, they're doing it wrong. Hi, Lauren. Do you want to take that, Linda, or maybe Gwen?
We finished the building construction in April. The contractors have been working off their punch list items, and we're in the process of getting our furnishings. We're funded to provide the furnishings, but now we're in line with the COVID projects nationwide. So it's taken a while to get our materials in. You talked about COVID, and through the Capital Development Board and the Governor's Office, we have been able to create negative pressure air rooms at each one of the 4 veterans homes. So as we come up with positive residents, we're able to isolate them from the rest of the residents in the homes. Did you have any other questions about the other homes? Yes, it's a ventilation issue, and we changed ventilation protocols. We had to do some things with the HVAC systems, and we put in UV lights in the ductwork, just a lot of mechanical stuff. Oops.
Yes, happy to. Not having trouble identifying them. People literally are committing fraud. This is happening all over the country. We're not unique. In fact, we speak regularly with the feds about this problem, as do the other 49 states. And there's a regular call among the leaders of the state's version of our IDES that runs unemployment to talk about this, among other issues that exist in unemployment, that was created, a program, I might add, that has massive fraud in it, created by the federal government, foisted upon us, and we had to force it out the door as soon as possible. We wanted to make sure it got out the door, but because of the way it was designed, it was fraught with fraud.
Why are some PUA claimants passing an IDES verification check and then failing an experience check and vice versa? This issue's been around for about a month. Is this issue causing more fraud?
They've narrowed down, using a data analysis, the categories of areas where there's likely to be fraud. You're identifying one avenue in which people go. These are hard, listen, they're stealing people's identities. That's what they're doing, right? Identities are being stolen, and then they're being used in both processes. And it's not easy to detect that without the person themselves, the actual person, not the fraudulent claimant, giving us some information. But we are identifying it, and we're doing it by figuring out which categories, using data analysis, there was most likely to be fraud, and then going after them. We have a certain number of investigators for the state. As you can imagine, in this pandemic, in this terrible economic crisis, it's never enough. You'd like to have more. Our budget hasn't allowed that, but we're doing everything that we can with the federal government's investigators to make sure that we're tracking down the wrongdoers. Yeah.